Hi everyone, welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. So we've got a huge amount of information about the new Shattered Sanctuary update that's coming into Diablo Immortal. Let's take a look to see what's included in this update and all of the information provided in the update patch notes that Blizzard have put out on 11th of December. And yeah, this is going to be huge. So Diablo has been restored, adventurer. Certain doom is upon us. So Diablo is finally coming in the game. So we got a little bit of information about this update previously, and I did say on the 11th there's going to be a larger article that's going to get released with further information about the update. So this basically goes through some more in-depth information about the update that's coming in the game and going to be live very, very soon. So in our last content update, you prepared for the Lord of Terror's return with a new limited time event, balance changes for some classes and updates to many features. This major update introduces the Shattered Sanctuary main quest, which you will see gather allies and sail to the icy north to contest a horde of demons pouring into our world at the behest of Diablo, Lord of Terror. You'll carry justice itself with you in the form of Elduran, sword of the Archangel Tyrael, but to have even a chance of defeating Diablo, you need to disrupt his armies, push back his lieutenants, and dismantle a truly diabolical weapon that lies at the heart of his plans, deep in the crater of unmaking. So there's going to be a server maintenance starting on December the 12th and also December the 13th, depending on whereabouts you're living. The December the 13th one is for servers in Americas. After that maintenance has concluded, all items mentioned below will be live. Specific dates for any features going live afterwards are provided below. So there is a video that they've released. Let's check out this video and let's see what sort of cinematic this is like. Okay, let's check this video out. I'll probably talk over it to avoid any copyright claims or anything. So yeah, so we open up with Tyrael, well known from the previous Diablo games.
Sanctuary
that's cool.
is held ever tighter,
kind of like an animated artwork style.
Terror, fated to this eternal struggle for control.
Glad they're showing the Necromancer there.
You too are bound to this war, to your allies and
Lots
to
of
me. But you choose to
Demon
fight
Hunter.
for it and die.
I love the
You have
artwork that they
braved
do
the
for
cold
Diablo
isles
Immortal and all the
proven
Diablo games in
yourself
fact.
worthy to wield the
Oh, they've got the
sword
Tempest
of
in here as well.
justice.
Okay.
Has no place in the world I will remake.
Let choice, not circumstance, determine your fate.
Is an inescapable force.
Definitely a very mature trailer here. So it's more like an artwork type cinematic rather than a CGI cutscene. Oh look, it's like a Diablo's face. I saw that. You got the two horns on the left and right. Oh, here we go. So it's got the new graphical updates here as well. So you can see it's looking gorgeous. And these new areas are going to be really, really good. Yeah, you can see, they've got some scenes from the main quest line as well that they're introducing, and maybe some of the new bosses as well. I'm probably going to take my time with this new main quest as well, Shattered Sanctuary Worldstone Quest Part 2. Nice, I really did like that cinematic trailer. So yeah, that was a really cool cinematic trailer and also included some gameplay as well. It was nice seeing all the different areas that they've got and the graphical updates as well. You know, it kind of really showed the tone of the update and the seriousness of it as well. You know, Diablo finally coming into Diablo Immortal. You know, it's quite a big deal and they've not taken that lightly. They've sort of taken that seriously, which is really good. And hopefully, you know, the actual animation and the voice and everything when we see Diablo in game sort of lives up to the hype and does the character justice. So yeah, really looking forward to that. It was a cool trailer. It was quite violent as well, which is quite cool to see, and the artwork looks amazing as well. So yeah, that's definitely getting me hyped for this update. Now take a look at this. There's a huge amount of update here. There's so much in this update. So a fated duel, which is the name of the new main quest, and complexity of the challenge dungeons. So there's a bit more information about the challenge dungeons in this update. And then you've got the new Helliquary bosses, which we touched upon last time. Some limited time events. You've got the new legendary gems as well. Got a new battle pass. That's going to have a new cosmetic, obviously. New phantom market. The internal war, which is the crossover with World of Warcraft, that's going to carry on as well. So it's quite nice that that's going on the side as well. Some returning events and new legendary items, set items. That's interesting. Got new set items as well, and new Paragon specializations. So we've all got extra Paragon points that have been built up, and we're not really sure what to do with them because we've sort of just claimed everything at the moment. So it's nice to see some new Paragon specializations coming our way. Got a class and magic affix balance changes, feature updates, earn additional inventory and stash space. Hopefully that space is not paid like Boon of Plenty. That would be annoying. And bug fixes obviously as well. So let's dive into this and let's see what additional information we've got from this update in this article. Obviously, as I've mentioned, a few of these areas have been touched on before, so we knew they were coming. It's just got additional information here. So this is the first one, which is a Shattered Sanctuary main quest. And once again, there's some fantastic artwork here, which I love looking at. Let's have a look. So yeah, Shattered Sanctuary is the next chapter in the main quest for Diablo Immortal. You need to have completed Crucible of Justice with Eldurin, the Sword of Justice, in your inventory. So we're actually going to make use of that. I reckon you're going to need that sword during the Diablo fight to sort of weaken Diablo and take him down. And we've got some screenshots here of some of the areas with the graphical update, so you can see the water's looking really, really nice, and some of the reflections and everything. But obviously, before you get to the Lord of Terror, you're going to have to go through like the new area and that main quest until you get there. If you're unable to hold Terror at bay, all of Sanctuary will be unmade. So I'm definitely going to take my time on this main quest as well. I'm trying not to rush through it and see what it's like. Helong Sanctuary, World's Crown. So this is the World's Crown, what it looks like. Very red, rivers of blood. They also mentioned about rain sort of coming from downwards up to up, which is quite an interesting effect if we actually get to see that. World's Crown in Diablo is the newest zone and largest to date. So wow, that's pretty cool. So it's going to be like a very large area, a vast snowy landmass in the far north, besieged by the legions of terror as Diablo attempts to fuse Sanctuary with the burning hells. Includes new bounties, 7 subzones and a safe zone, and unique wanted monsters. That's interesting. So I wonder if it's going to be like a bounty, like you have to go and find this particular monster and kill this monster, like you get in traditional RPGs, and then you have to go out, kill that monster, come back and get your reward. And new bounties is going to be nice, having a new area to go to actually do those bounties. Relive your climactic clash against the Lord of Terror with friends. So this is something that they mentioned before, where once you've defeated Diablo in the main quest line, you'll be able to gather a party of 4 and sort of relive that battle. But then you've got different difficulties that you can choose as well. So yeah, it says here, once the dust has settled and the Shattered Sanctuary quest completed, you can relive your moment of glory against Diablo as replayable challenge with 4 other people. So by doing so, it says you're going to get cosmetics, set items, and more will be your rewards. So let's see what we actually get by redoing it and how often we can redo it, and if it's actually going to be worth it or not. So next up, you've got the challenge dungeon. So the normal dungeons are going to get cranked up with their complexity and difficulty. So obviously you're still going to have the normal dungeons as well, but you're going to have the choice to take on these challenge dungeons, which are going to be a lot harder. Gives players a bit of a challenge to test their character and builds out, and their party setup as well. So the dungeons are now more rewarding and dangerous, and they're basically explaining them as boosted versions called challenge dungeons. Higher difficulty, and you'll be assigned 1 to 2 random dungeon modifiers such as pools of magma, increased monster speed, bonus globe drops. Your first challenge dungeon completed each week will provide a chest with a guaranteed set items, and all challenge runs will have a higher chance of dropping potent rewards. So that's going to be cool, an additional way to get your guaranteed set items, just to build that up, and look forward to seeing what the other rewards are like as well. And the random modifiers are something I really like as well. So Diablo's always been known for, when you go into a dungeon, you'll just be sort of random, the layout and everything like that. I mean, I even like Fractured Plane just because of the randomness of it as well. So every time you play, it's never going to be the same. So that's going to be cool with these complexity dungeons, the challenge dungeons, just to have those random modifiers. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So let's take a look at some of these, some of the information I've got here. So this is monsters have 500% more life, whoa, and deal 200% more damage. So approach with caution. my bone armor is going to come in handy here, I'm sure, and Phoenix Ashes as well. Here are the possible forces of hell that can be unleashed during your challenge dungeon run. So let's take a look to see what they've got here. So big problem, enemies are larger throughout the dungeon. Oh, that looks fun. So you're going to have like bigger enemies. They've probably got the brawler Paragon on, so the player's size is decreased as well. Bosses will continuously grow over time until they're unraged. That's going to be really fun to see. Laser. Enemies fire beams of energy at targets. Okay, that's going to be quite interesting. Got bad blood. So enemies leave behind a pool of blood after death that will slow and damage players. Ooh, that sounds nasty. Bolstered. Some non-boss monsters have an aura that increased movement and attack speed of nearby monsters and gives them a shield. That's going to be trickier to take them down. Rain of fire. Fireballs occasionally fall from the sky. I wonder if that's going to have like a circle indicator like the new Vanguard that you have to sort of move away from. Sacrificial power. Skills have greatly reduced cooldowns but cost health. Lava eruption. Lava periodically erupts beneath the player. Speedrun. Completing the dungeon within a time limit will grant bonus rewards. You got swarming. The dungeon has more normal monsters. S-class. The dungeon has more elites. Gauntlet. There's no normal monsters but bosses are stronger. And got heightened senses. Monsters sense players more easily. Conjurer. Some monsters and bosses summon doppelgangers. Bountiful combat globes drop more frequently. And greed spoils. Skip directly to the final dungeon boss, but the boss's difficulties increase. Wow, there's so many more than I thought there were going to be. That's really, really cool that they've thought of these. And if they're sort of randomized every time, it's just going to make it really fun to just keep going into these challenge dungeons to take them on, because you never know what you're going to get. And it's going to be a good laugh. It might be fun if you're in voice chat with your party members as well, because, you know, you're not sure what you're going to get and you might get some really annoying one or really funny one. Yeah, this is really, really cool. Looking forward to this for sure. And then we've got the new Helliquary bosses. So we've touched upon these Helliquary bosses before, but let's see if there's any more information. I think this is the same as they've got last time. So you got Vogmarek, then there's Mulgeist and Diosbray. So by completing and defeating each of them, you unlock the next Inferno level. So I think the information there is the same as last time. So we've got 3 new bosses there, and there's going to be a new Helliquary gauntlet as well. And there's also a new Molten Ruptured Soul armor, weapon and portal cosmetics if you have the endurance to topple these foes. So it looks like a bit of a mess, to be honest. There's a lot going on. So it's very detailed, but it just seems very messy, this one. I'm not really sure this is one I'm going to equip, but it's cool. I like the sort of the knee pads. They've got these like faces on them, so that looks quite cool. But it's not a cosmetic which I will be equipping, but it's great to have more cosmetics in the game to pick from, so I'm not going to complain. Then there's a limited time event called Terra Ascendant. So let's take a look to see what this is. So since Diablo's return, fear premates the ground its subjects walk upon, taunting them with eternal doom. You must cleanse the air by completing Terra Ascendant's tasks. Oh, okay, so this is from December the 13th to December the 27th. You're just going to get Champion's Commandments, and you can exchange them for rewards such as a Telluric Pearl, legendary crest, and legendary items. So this is going to be like a really easy one, I reckon. You're just going to have to do some pretty basic tasks, but the rewards are going to be great. I mean, getting a Telluric Pearl and a legendary crest, you can't say no to that. So definitely make sure you check out the events tab and do all of the tasks required for this event. Looking forward to that one for some extra loot. Okay, so the next one is Days of Dawnspan. It's another limited time event that's coming, and this is a really cute looking artwork they've got here, and some fantastic detail on this artwork as well, and definitely hungry looking at it. A new dawn lies at the end of Hellfire Line Tunnel, adventurer. Venture out to seize it from 1st of January. Okay, so it's a New Year event. 1st of January to January the 15th. You can complete daily and weekly Days of Dawnspan tasks to earn rewards such as Rune, Flora, Aspirant Keys, and Milestone Progression Points. So daily tasks will have you running the Sanctum, completing Castle Urban or Abyssal Verge, whereas weekly tasks will require you to run Elite Cleansing and more. So another easy one for free loot. It's always great when these come along because it is a way that, you know, they just reward us with free loot by doing fairly simple tasks, and the tasks which we end up having to do anyway as part of weekly activities to cap certain things. So sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. And then we've got the new legendary gems, which we have spoken about before. So Golden Firmament, 5-star legendary gem. So this gives you Ascendance for 6 seconds, which increases your evasion rating by 12% and causing you to unleash 3 blasts of wind at random enemies every second. And that was mentioned in the previous patch notes as well, so we know that's coming. And Mercy's Harvest, which is one that I'm quite interested in because it seems very Necromancer-like. And also Havoc Bearer, which is the 1-star gem, which will be a nice cheap one if you do use dash skills. This is probably an easy one to get hold of. So new legendary gems coming our way, and if you're interested in them, there's also a modified drop table from December the 13th to January the 8th. You can construct your own drop pool with the legendary gems, and you'll have the ability to handpick 15 5-star legendary gems, 15 2-star gems, and 15 1-star gems that will make up your drop pool. So you can customize the chance of the legendary gems that you'll get dropped for you. Okay, so new season, new battle pass, Astride the Abyss. So this seems really creepy. Look at those guys staring at us with the yellow eyes. And yeah, like I said before, not too sure about this one. It's a very Necromancer themed one with the bones and very sort of spiky. But yeah, it doesn't stand out too much. It's okay. We'll see what they actually look like in game. But yeah, new cosmetics. Let's take a look at this video to see what they look like. But this is from December the 19th. So you got 40 ranks worth of rewards, such as crest, hilts, legendary gems, and more. So we'll take a look at them. So let's have a look at this video and see what this is like. Okay, so yeah, the bit of colour underneath, a bit of blue, that's not bad. Reminds me of Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, especially with the face mask that they've got with the bones and the spikes. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of bones on them if you're into that sort of look. And at least they've got a bit of colour underneath. I saw like a little purple, bluish colour underneath. So yeah, if you like that look, it does suit the Necromancer class quite nicely, actually. So I'll see what it looks like on my character, but probably end up sticking to the one I've already got. Let's see what else we've got. Reactivate your ephemeral treasures with the Collector's Empowered Battle Pass. The cosmetics lost to time have re-emerged in a new aspect of Collector's Empowered Battle Pass. Okay. Upon activating your Collector's Empowered Battle Pass, you'll be able to choose 2 of the... Okay, so I think some of the cosmetics which have gone, you can go and choose 2 of them to reactivate from the past, meaning they can once again be displayed proudly. Okay. If there's ones that you liked before that you no longer get to use, you can redo them. I guess it's alright if there's ones that you like. So yeah, at least I've added that if you've got the option to do that, if you're into that. And we have a new Phantom Market, basically just another cash cow, born Ablaze. It's very fiery, which goes nicely with the new area that they're introducing with the mainline quest. And I'm sure it's going to have some sort of sparkly effects as you walk around and stuff like that. It doesn't look too bad. We'll see what it looks like in game. The artwork is fantastic as always. So this is from December the 17th to January the 14th. You'll have the new Phantom Market. It feels like it hasn't been long since you had the previous Phantom Market. It's just another way to get more money from people, really, who just can't resist throwing cash at a cosmetic that might not last too long before they swap to another cosmetic. But yeah, considering items from the Phantom Market are required randomly per draw, we want to provide the initial draw rates for each item to aid in deciding if you'd like to engage with the event past your first free draw. Okay, fair enough. Try to be a little bit friendly there, but you've got the drop rates here. It says the drop rates provided below are for the first draw only and will adjust to reflect the relative probability of the remaining items in the Phantom Market pool. So yeah, you've got some portals and emojis and all that stuff as usual. But yeah, if you're into that, check it out. But I think these are just a bit of a cash cow, really. And as mentioned before, the Eternal War rages on, the crossover between Diablo Immortal and World of Warcraft. So we're going to have Cutthroat Basin and, you know, Fallen Citadel. Mornskull is just going to carry on until December the 31st. So if you haven't quite ranked up your Mornskull to rank 10 and you are planning to use that, just make the most out of it until the end of the month to get that to rank 10. It is a pretty cool gem. I'm using it and I've got mine to rank 10. I did a video on that one. And yeah, so if you have World of Warcraft and you play World of Warcraft, you'll also get this little cosmetic in-game there. Okay, let's quickly go over the returning events. We've got Conqueror that's coming back. Not really too keen on Conqueror, and after playing Cutthroat Basin, it's going to be sad to go back to looking at this old style piece of scenery that we are used to playing with. But yeah, that's coming back. Conqueror is fairly quick to get all the rewards apart from the 6-minute win. So yeah, just get a build together, go through it, grab the rewards, move on. Hungering Moon, this is a great one. It's got some cool rewards in Hungering Moon. You just have to remember to actually activate it, and instead doing all of your dungeon spamming and realizing at the end you've forgotten to activate Hungering Moon. So that's always a cool one that comes across. So that's from December the 14th to December the 21st. And then Brumaltine. This was an event that we had last year, and it's a fun one where you just send and receive gifts, and also you'll get hopefully the Elder Rift area where the bounty board is, which will look very Christmassy for this event. We'll have a look. But yeah, this is coming back from December the 17th to December the 7th. And yeah, you can basically make offerings and send your friends gifts and get gifts received to you. And then you get lots of prizes as well. December the 24th, 4th, 25th, 30th and 31st and January the 1st, players can log in to receive celebratory gifts such as you get emojis and like a frame, and you can sort of participate in trading greeting cards with your friends as well. So yeah, that's coming for Christmas time. It's always good to see that. It gets you in the festive mood in game. And then we've got one of the best returning events, Wild Brawl. That's coming back. We'll have fun with that as well. And obviously it's worth remembering that we're going to be able to do these events with the new graphical updates as well. We'll see how much the graphical updates play a part with the returning events as well, and if they've been updated and any noticeable differences. So that's going to be cool. So Wild Brawl is from December the 20th to December the 27th. And then Shady Stock, which is a nice one to get lots of free loot with some easy tasks, is coming back as well from December the 21st to December the 28th. And then Alley of Blood, which isn't too bad. It's quite quick to get through all of the Alley of Blood rewards. A lot quicker than Conqueror, I'd say. You just need to make sure you get lucky with some decent teams to get some wins in. But Alley of Blood's coming back. That's from, oh, bit of a typo here, but December 27th to January the 3rd. So that's a nice and easy one. Get your PvP gear on and push forward to destroy the enemy towers and get to their heart. All clans on deck is an easy one that you do with your, yourself and the rest of your clan. It's one that you don't really need to do too much extra. You just play the game as usual, and eventually you'll get all the rewards that you can collect in the events tab. That's from December the 28th to January the 4th. And they're giving us a holiday fractured plane. So what is this? Is it going to be sort of Christmassy themed or what? It says the fractured plane makes a return for the holidays, but with a festive twist. Oh, fantastic. I kept saying, I think it was in the last update video I did, I said they need to make some sort of updates or changes to Fractured Plane and keep on improving it, because it's one of my favourite modes. So I'm glad they're doing a bit of a twist in time for Christmas. So you got new modifiers will be present to shake up your runs, keeping you on your toes. Have eyes at the back of your head to look out for the Ambusher and Fleet-footed modifiers, active from December the 24th to December the 31st. And the nearsighted and chained lightning modifiers, active December the 31st to January the 7th. So that's really cool because, like I said, Fractured Plane is one of my favourite events, and it's cool to have some of these new modifiers and updates. I'm probably going to make a video on that because that's going to be really fun. So I think I'm looking forward to that the most out of all of the returning events. And Trial of the Hordes, meh, not really too keen unless they do some updates on this one, but it is a really quick and easy one to grab all of your event center rewards and the bonuses that come from completing this a few times. So that's January the 3rd to January the 10th. Yeah, when that comes along, I will quickly get through all of the rewards. Shields off the Hearth. So let's take a look at this. Crashing into a soft bed of snow, you free your axe from a fallen Kazara and rise to your feet. Breathing in and then out, you begin to catch your breath. When it's short-lived, the frigid wind wisps you around, revealing a small horde of Kazara racing into avenge their ally. Your bloodthirsty attackers number many, but when do they not? Raising a shield, you brace yourself for the slaughter ahead. So that sounded cool, but what do you actually do? Protect the world from its grasping fingers during the Shields of the Hearth limited event. January the 4th to January the 11th, you complete daily tasks, you receive various rewards for your heroics. Ranking up enough completed tasks will also unlock a milestone reward. Okay, so it doesn't mention what type of reward you get. Hopefully there will be legendary crests at least. Hopefully one Telluric Pearl, but that maybe might be too much to ask. But legendary crests hopefully come our way. So that should be an easy one. That's one of the ones where you've probably just got some easy tests like complete 4 bounties, complete a dungeon or something like that. We'll see. But it's always nice to have an event that throws these free rewards at us, and that will be in the new year. Okay, so this area of the update notes is probably more interesting because it mentions about new legendary items, set items, and Paragon specializations. So this is really, really interesting. Obviously, a lot more than the returning events. So first of all, new legendary affixes. We've got some new ones for Barbarian. There's Shardbreaker, Burden of Nothingness, Death Awaits, Crown's Cowardice, Terror Unburdened, Dread Desecration, that's for the shoulders. So yeah, if you're a Barbarian, you've got lots of new essences to look forward to here. There looks like there's some nice ones that are going to come your way. So definitely take a look at these if you're a Barbarian. And then if you're a Blood Knight, you've got a nice set of new essences here. You've got Split Sun, Winged Anointment, Marked Span, Seeker in Darkness, Brace of Fangs, and also Bodding Fan, which is a swarm of bats now sends a carrier bat into a single target. So yeah, Blood Knight's getting some nice essences and updates. I'm scrolling down, looking forward, and just kind of nervous about the Necromancer ones. Crusader. So Crusader's got all of these updates as well if you want to take a look. So Halted Siege, Doom Parade, Exuriated, Flock, and Shores of Vengeance, and Scrounged Smile as well. Oh, Ironbound Vow, that's another one. So yeah, lots of essences. So it might be worth taking a look at each of these for whichever class you play to see what you're going to get. Same again with Demon Hunter. So if you're playing Demon Hunter, have a read through these and see if you're excited about any of these. So you've got Twisted Ward, Survivor Strike, Brutal Temperance, Victim's Rancor, Sinful Masquerade, and Agony Spectre. Monk is also getting a whole bunch of new essences as well. And hopefully all of these have been play tested quite thoroughly just to make them sort of nice and balanced. So hopefully we're not going to get another update straight after this saying, oh, this essence was overpowered, or this one needs to be dumbed down. Hopefully these have been tested enough that they stay the way they are for a few months at least down the line. So Monk's getting Hope Against Hope, Tranquil Palm, Sword Feast, Hidden Way, Anointed Path, and Burden of Impure. Now this is the one which I'm looking forward to the most, obviously, as I'm a Necromancer. Let's take a look at this. So Wilt's Bloom, so that's for my main hand. So command Golem now encases you within the column, empowering you and making you immune to knockbacks, while also increasing your movement speed and reducing all damage you take. Additionally, you will gain several new abilities. This might make it more fun to actually bring back Golem and use it in PvP. I may actually play around with this one. This seems really fun. We had the Parasite Wraithform one, which was kind of quite fun to play and similar, where you went inside an enemy, but this time you go inside the Golem, so making you immune to knockbacks as well, so and increasing your movement speed. Sounds quite fun. Next one, Scattered Light. Skeletal Mage now summons untargetable spectral mages that cast Hungering Soulfire at enemies. Okay, I'm going to be equipping that one. After being struck by a total loss of control effect, a spectral mage can sacrifice itself to remove the effect. Additionally, spectral mages will be summoned passively whilst you're in combat. Wow. So you're just going to get mages popping up. I'm most likely going to be using that one. I'm really excited about that. Draw Deep. Bone Armor now passively absorbs the souls of enemies you slay, generating a shield that absorbs damage and grows in strength with each kill. Additionally, Bone Armor can be activated instantly, granting you a shield at 50% of maximum power. Wow. Okay, these essences are sounding fantastic for Necromancer. Therudo Plates. Bone Armor now instantly heals you for 25% of the absorb value of the shield. Okay, kind of working similar to Phoenix Ashes there. You've got Stern Guidance. Command Skeletons now summons untargetable spectral warriors that can be ordered to rush to a location and explode, dealing damage and fearing enemies. Okay, another way that they're trying to introduce you to bring your summoned into PvP because you can fear enemies and throw them into your sort of like where circle where the idol is or something, so you can sort of stand back and throw the skeletons to fear people. Additionally, the spectral warriors will sacrifice themselves, exploding on enemies that are feared. That sounds really fun. And then Cutthroat Arch. Skeletal mage attacks siphon the power from their targets for 2 seconds, increasing your critical hit chance by 2%, and that can stack up to 12%. Okay, some really interesting Necromancer essences that I'm looking forward to playing around with, so happy about that. And yeah, Tempest is going to get some as well, so Fangdal's Sunken Abyss, Memento Omnius, Cruel Impetus, Deceitful Whisperers, and Coward a Cartilage. So some nice ones there. Wizard, if you're a wizard, take a look at these. Eye Plucker, sounds quite fun. Cycle Stone, 4 Demon Vestment, Stalking Wind, Immolator's Cow, and Accursed Arrival. They've thought of some pretty cool names for these essences as well. So if you're a wizard, take a look at this list and see if there's anything which you're really interested in getting and excited about. And then we've got new set items. So it's been quite a long time since we've had new set items to play around with and equip. It'll be nice to see what this one has in store for us. So we have Grip of Char, Contempt's Wake, Fiery Pursuit, Shipmate's Coil, Tenuous Ally, Reckless Ally, Windshaper's Duty, and Raven's Duty. And they are only on the higher Inferno levels that we're going to get. So let's have a look. So 2-piece bonus. Your Firestorm now becomes a Wildfire, increasing its damage bonus from 50% to 85%. Okay. 4-piece. Wildfire now conjures a Wildfire Tornado that drags nearby enemies to its center, dealing damage to all enemies within the area, and cannot occur more than every 6 seconds. Okay. And 6-piece. Wildfire now grants you Fanning the Flames for 12 seconds, causing your non-burn attacks to deal wind damage, allowing them to trigger Wildfire. Fanning the Flames also reduces the Wildfire Tornado's cooldown by 3 seconds, and that can't occur more than 40 seconds. Okay, it's interesting. Not one which is jumping out to me too much that I'm going to go ahead and get it straight away. Might be one which is worth testing. Obviously, it mentions about your Firestorm. So, yeah, I need to read up a bit and sort of play around about Firestorm and actually getting Firestorm to trigger so you can actually get all the properties of the set item. But yeah, it's great that we've got a new set item in the game for people to experiment with and play around with. So then we have the new Paragon. So it's great, we're going to get a new Paragon grid, and it's called Slayer. Pretty cool name. And just taking a look at these, it looks like a very offensive Paragon to pick from. So there's a lot of these. I'm not going to go and read all of them. Take a look to see what it's like. But for example, you got Proficiency, Vigor, and these are like, you know, your primary attack and ultimate damage is increasing. You get a lot of damage increase skills to pick from here. Tempo, up the tempo, so your attack speed going up and increasing that primary attack, the bonuses of those attack speed going up as well. You got things like collateral damage and cripple, impair, rupture, so your harmful effect is going up as well, which is quite cool, by 10%. Attack speed reduction increasing from 10 to 15%. Just improving your harmful effects. We've also got skills that increasing the effectiveness of your shields and the shields you grant by allies by 10%. So this is a nice one for like bone armor. So you get increased beneficial effect duration, which is quite nice. Other ones like Convergence, Unwavering, Safeguard, and Hope. Gain a shield every 30 seconds to absorb your damage. When your shield expires, you take 60% reduced damage. Gaining a shield makes you immune to the next 2 knockback effects. So this is a really cool Paragon. Actually, it's got a nice mix between offensive and defensive, and improving sort of harmful effects as well. It might be one which I'm gonna pick. I might try it over Slinger or Brawler to see how I get on. So that's going to be cool to have a look at in game once it hits live. So then we've got some new legendary skills to pick from. So I think we've all kind of bored of the 3 ones that we've got. I mean, maybe not bored. Lightning Rod's pretty cool, and Benefactor I do use quite often, but it's nice to have more legendary skills to pick from as well and try them out. So we're going to get Death's Release, Shock Barrier, and Overloaded. So let's take a look. Death's Release. So when your continual damage of harmful effects expire, they explode, dealing 30% of their total damage to nearby enemies. Okay, I guess that's one where if you've got a build that's doing continual harmful effects like burn and freeze and poison, and it sort of helps there. It might be a nice one for PvP. And shock barrier. Gaining an absorb shield causes you to unleash a burst of energy, dealing damage to all nearby enemies equal to 30% of the shield's absorb value, up to a maximum of 40% of your base damage. So that might work well with one of the essences that I read for shield absorption, and also maybe Phoenix Ashes, where you get the shield absorption. Maybe that works well with Phoenix Ashes. We'll have to test and have a look. And let's have a look at overloaded. You periodically become overloaded, causing your next 5 primary attacks within 3 seconds to have a 60% increased primary attack speed. That's not too bad, especially things like challenge rifts where you need the increased primary attack speed, and that will kind of help you get a faster attack for your next 5 primary attacks within 3 seconds. So yeah, 60% is quite a decent amount. So it's quite cool. We're going to have the new Paragon and the new legendary skills to pick from. And then this massive round of updates carries on with class and magic attributes balance changes. So we're going to get some class balance changes below. Let's see what's going to happen to Necromancer. So Frigid's Repose, Vortex of Ice damage increased. Oh, whoa, they're actually increasing something. I actually use this on my speed builds. I actually use Frigid Repose, and there's a reason why as well. I might make a video on it. I found that the cooldown of bone armor is greatly reduced when I use this particular bone armor essence. So it's increased from 34.4% to 40%, which is great. I'm happy about that because it's the one I use. Parting Gift, I use this one. So let's see what update we get here. The charges granted by bone armor now have an upper limit on a damage they will block equal to 160% of your damage. This means particularly heavy single attacks will cause some damage. Oh, okay. Gonna have to test that one out. I always hate them messing around with Parting Gift. It's one of the most commonly used Necromancer essences with bone armor. So yeah, let's see how that affects me in game. Okay, is that it for... They didn't mention any other classes there. Oh, just kind of picked on Necromancer. I guess the first one was quite good with the Frigid's Repose, the chilling effect with bone armor. I'm glad the damage has gone up with that because, like I said, it's one I use. We've got some magic affix balance changes. The endure magic affix changes are effective only in PvP activities. So, got endure general one. Shields also grant immunity to 2 hits of damage, but that can't occur more often than every 12 seconds. They've changed. Now absorbs up to 50% of your damage hit. Massive damage hits can consume multiple targets. Okay, that's interesting. And the next one is evading attack has 12% chance to grant you a shield equal to 10% of your maximum life for 5 seconds. What have they done? So previously the chance of trigger was reduced in PvP. Now instead the shield value is reduced in PvP. Shield value reduced from 10% to 5% and remove the chance of trigger. Okay, that doesn't sound great, but yeah. We'll see how that plays about in game. And then we've got some changes. So movement speed increased by 9% has now gone from 9% to 12%. And the one where you had movement speed increased by 9% has now gone to 12%. That's pretty decent changes there. And also the movement speed increased by 0.5% for 5 seconds has now gone to 12% from 30 to 40 stacks. So some nice balance changes there. You've got some for Barbarian as well. So Undying Rage reduces the duration of harmful effects, has now gone down to 10%. You've got some changes. So I'm not going to probably go through all of these, but yeah, got some changes from Sprint. That's reduced from 25% to 12%. Whirlwind changes. We've got Wrath of the Berserker changes. Leap changes. So if you play any of these classes, you might want to take a deeper look at these changes just to see what's going to affect you. For Monk, you're going to have changes to Inner Sanctuary, where you got a reduction from 7% to 5% for the evasion rating. Exploding Palm has been changed from 5% to 10%. And Wave of Light has increased 25% to 30%. That's quite a good one. Tempest has got changes to Flowing Strike, where the reduction's gone from 185% to 90%. Rolling Surf has been reduced from 19.8% to 10%, and Windwalk has gone from 1% to 2%. You've also got changes to Zephyr Surge and Cascade. So for Zephyr Surge, you got from 10% to 12%, and the range for Cascade has gone from 8% to 12%. So some class balance changes there. Like I said, whichever class you play, take a look at those and review them to see how it will affect you, and see if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing for your class. And then we've got a whole load of feature updates. So there's a brand new progression system, Seeker's Path, and basically the higher combat rating you get these rewards, and the UI looks really clean for this. Actually, I really like the UI. It's very, very polished, very clean looking, nice layout, easy to look at and read. And at the bottom you can see we've got the tableau, the upgrade equipment, the Helliquary. It's going to be easier to access all of these from one page, so I really, really, really like this. This is great. So Seeker's Path is a new progression system that will award you Seeker's rating whenever you upgrade your 8 primary equipment slots, the Helliquary or your ancestral tableau. As you gain rating, you'll passively earn combat rating, and once you reach certain milestone, you'll earn materials for useful upgrading the Helliquary and your primary equipment slots. Upgrading your primary equipment slots, Helliquary or ancestral tableau will no longer provide combat rating. Oh, okay, so that's a nice change actually. So you don't get those tiny amount of combat rating every time you go to the tableau or Helliquary. They've combined all of this into a much more user-friendly system that all works together, and I kind of like that than having to sort of go to each of these separate areas and grabbing tiny combat ratings from each area. They've made a one combined progression system with the really fantastic layout as well. So both the Helliquary and ancestral tableau menus can now be found within the new Seeker's Path menu, and additional changes have been made. So let's take a look at these. So the tableau is no longer part of the warband activity, and it unlocks upon reaching level 20. You do not need to be in a warband to access it. Okay, so that's a massive change to the tableau. So it's no longer part of the activity. Okay. I'm gonna have to take a look at that in game once it comes in. So activity points, formerly called warband activity points. Okay, so they're just calling them activity points, and you don't need to be in a warband now. Can now be earned by completing defense, purge of depths, bounties, elder rifts, and dungeons with friends, clans, or warbands. Activity points can still be earned by completing these activities solo, but at reduced rate. Ah, great! They've just made it a lot easier for us to cap certain things. This used to be tricky because there were some weeks when you'd be really busy, and you may not have been able to party up with your warband members to cap your warband points. I mean, it's something which I try and do every week. Every week I try and cap my warband points to the maximum amount, and I have certain warband friends that I usually team up with to try and get those warband points capped. And it can be quite stressful when it gets to like Friday, Saturday, and maybe I've had a busy week and I've got a busy weekend to come, and I'm not able to cap those points. I end up finding myself staying up quite late trying to cap them, and it can get a bit unhealthy. This has made it so much easier, so they've ditched all of that and made it into a completely new system, and it says that you can do these solo as well. Every 300 activity points earned will automatically be converted into attributes and seeker rating. The weekly cap for activity points has been removed. The rate at which your activity points will be converted is based on your character seeker's rating in relation to your server's seeker's rating. So that is massive. The weekly cap for activity points has been removed. One less thing to stress about capping. So I only need to worry about gems, battle points, elder rift, and maybe some of the events. So that's one less thing to do in the week. It's just made this update has just made the game way more fun and enjoyable to play, and less stressful to those who have an OCD about having to cap everything every week. So there's a developer note here as well. This change aims to help adventurers enhance their power more effectively. For those who are behind in progression, catching up on upgrading their equipment, Helliquary and Tableau is extremely challenging, especially since participating in warband activities is required to advance your Tableau. We have consolidated these three systems into a Seeker's Path and removed the restriction tying ancestral Tableau to warbands. So yeah, I mean, I was fairly lucky. I've got an amazing warband with Rishia, Game Zone, Bookie, Helena, Benkai, and a few others that really work together nicely to make sure we do raids all the time, and I've got a few members in the warband that I team up with to make sure I cap those warband points Agadea as well. And yeah, it's nice to have those people that you can team up with to get warband points. But now this means that you don't always have to mention in the chat, oh, I've still got another 400 warband points to go, can we spam dungeons together for the evening? It's completely removed that. It's really made me enjoy playing the game more, hearing about this. So thanks to Blizzard to making this change, and all the developers who worked on this update. Thank you very much. So familiars, there's a whole new way to use familiars. You send them out into expedition, so you can see that you can send them into shadow contracts, accursed towers, and a sanctum. This reminds me of a little mini game that was introduced in an Assassin's Creed game, where it was where you had ships that you used to send. You used to come back to this area where you had this table, and you send ships out into little missions, and you sent, I think, people out into missions as well, and they would go off and do their missions. I think it was in a Final Fantasy game as well, because I remember sending chocobos out into these missions, and they'd come back after a while, and then you'd get some loot, and yeah, you just send them off again. So it seems like a similar sort of thing. Familiars now have added utility. At Nissa, the familiar vendor in Westmarch, you can now send up to 4 bonded familiars to complete a cursed tower, shadow contracts, sanctum, through new familiar expedition feature. The more familiars you send, the quicker they'll complete the task. While your familiars are hard at work repelling Hell's forces, you can play as you normally would. They will even continue their task if you exit Diablo Immortal. It's like an AFK game for the win here. You'll receive rewards for completing these tasks as though you did yourself. Oh, wow. So I don't have to make sure I go to the sanctum at the end of the day to get the keys, maybe, and I don't have to do the contracts. I can send my I can send my familiars out to do all of those tasks. That's massive. That is actually huge. They've added loads of things in this update which have made you spend more time doing other things you enjoy, and made it less of a grind as well. And that daily grind of things that, okay, I have to do this contract. Okay, I have to go to the sanctum to get these keys. Oh, I need to get these additional 400 warband points. All of that's been removed. So this is amazing. I'm enjoying reading this update notes the more I go down. And this is definitely the best and biggest update they've ever introduced in Diablo Immortal. Now, only conversion will be used to upgrade your familiars. The melding option has been removed. I've not had a chance to use most of my contracts, so I'm kind of skipping to this update, which is great. Conversions guarantee 1 normal familiar of equal or better quality. The new normal familiar created from the conversion is bound to the player and cannot be sold. Any newly summoned or purchased normal familiar are not tradable. Conversions have a small chance to create additional aberrant familiar of equal or better quality. The evolution path and sale options for aberrant familiars remain unchanged. A new skill tier has been added for normal familiars. So you got enhanced rare. Enhanced rare tier skills can be obtained from a conversion. Normal familiars can get enhanced rare skills, and normal familiars can unlock level 3 outlook. So this is a massive change to familiars. You got also magic affix reroll. If you've already upgraded all of your 8 primary equipment to rank 30, you can now use the new enhanced feature at the blacksmith to reroll 1 magic affix on an item to replace it. That's cool. I'll be using that. Helliquary bosses, class specific and skill specific magic affixes cannot be rerolled. That makes sense. You got gem resonance updates as well. The gem resonance system now unlocks at rank 4, giving you flexibility in socketing the gems you want, but old predetermined resonant gems are still needed to get the socketed bonuses. Yep, that's fair, and it just means lower players and who are newer players as well can actually get those gem resonance earlier and cheaper as well. So socketing resonance gems will now temporarily contribute gem power to the primary gem when it's ranked up in progressive upgrades. If the same ranked up primary gem is unsocketed later, it will become dormant. Okay, that's a nice update. And then we've got some updates to legendary gems. The gem power extraction and transfer can now be used on 1 and 2 star legendary gems. Extending this feature to all legendary gems will allow you to freely swap around new gems and test different builds and loadouts. That's cool for testing. and normal gems, the number of normal gems acquired through the gem find party bonus can now be tracked. Okay, this is cool. So even today when I was doing Terrorist, I had a guy in the chat that kept just saying 1 out of 12, 2 out of 12, 3 out of 12. So it's basically tracking every single gem that was dropped, and it seemed like a bit of a chore. So now we no longer have to keep a mental or a noted record of how many normal gems we've obtained in that day. You're going to get a now tracking system while you're with 4 players, so that's great. We have some changes to dungeons, so deciding to skip the dungeon's introduction cutscene will now automatically skip the cutscene for that dungeon for the rest of the week. The Temple of Namari, Destruction's End, and the Mad King's Breach dungeon playthrough experience has been improved. So this is something which has been spoken about a few times, especially those who spam dungeons regularly and they just don't want to see those cutscenes. But I kind of had a bit of an argument there where we're kind of removing the lore, which is really important in Diablo Immortal, and it just might be a shame to not see those cutscenes, and you might forget about them, and it just kind of removes that lore aspect. But they've kind of made me happy by making this something that happens for a week. So after that week, you will see the cutscene pop up if you do want to see that and get that lore, and then you can just choose to disable it again for the whole week. So yeah, they've made everyone happy there. I think that's a fantastic change. It's going to speed things up. A new armory has been added to the Battleground and Tower War. When used, only the effects of essence transfer are retained for these PvP activities. Gems and items cannot be replaced. You can now save an activated Paragon specialization, and now a new display mode that allows you to clearly view individual equipment and the names has been added. So that's great. We use armory all the time, and it's nice that they have gone ahead and added these changes to armory. Really happy about that change. And now we've got some changes to Battleground. We've made a handful of changes to honor labels, most damage and assists. Oh, okay, this is cool. Extra points will be awarded to members of the losing side of a match who receive honor labels. Honor labels will be more evenly distributed going forward. Each team will receive their own honor labels, and the points gained from honor labels will be displayed clearly in the post-match UI. So that's quite nice, just being awarded for certain things that you've done, even if you've had a really rubbish game or you've been steamrolled by Wales. You might have done something cool when you get some of those honor labels being displayed. So that's quite nice to see at the end of the match. Okay, now we've got some changes to the Helliquary. So something that we do a couple of times a week, and it's nice that they have made some updates. Let's take a look to see what they are. So a new damage meter displaying the top 4 damage dealers has been added. More information about each player's performance can be viewed once the Helliquary battle concludes. That's really cool because obviously we get the chest of glory at the end. When you have got the chest of glory, you don't know who are the other 2 people who've got the chest of glory, and it's quite cool because I obviously tweak my raid build quite a lot, and I like to see when I do get the chest of glory, what did I do differently to actually get that? Have I increased something in terms of damage? Have I done something better that week to improve my legendary gems or tweak things around? It'll be nice to see at the end, the top 4 who does that damage. It's quite nice, and it gives you an idea about your build as well and things that can be switched around. The downtime and transitions for the following bosses have been reduced by removing life locks and adjusting triggers for spawn throughout the fight. So yeah, all of these bosses have been adjusted. That they've listened to us finally. We've been doing Helliquary bosses for a long time. You get some of these bosses that kind of stun lock and just stay stuck for ages, and then you're just there, all of you, for like 20 seconds, 10 seconds, kind of just hitting the boss, like waiting for something to happen. It's great that they finally sped things up. This is going to make raids way more quicker and smoother when we do them twice a week. Additionally, a spectator mode has been added to the Helliquary for downed allies to cheer on their comrades. Okay, this is cool, and I really like this because there's plenty of times that you help lower level players go through their raids, and you may even have somebody in your warband who's not as high as you are, and they might die quite early. And it's quite a shame sometimes when I go into a raid and you see somebody die quite quickly, and then you're helping them and they're kind of just sitting there dead on the floor. They're not able to do much, and they might feel bad at times, like, there's nothing I can do. This feature is great because at least they feel, okay, I died early, but I can spectate, I can cheer, and I can watch to see what's going on. So I think this is a really friendly and fantastic change that they've had to Helliquary bosses. So whoever made this change, good job for thinking of this, and well done to the Blizzard team for implementing that change, especially for lower players who may not have as high combat rating and may end up dying early. So yeah, I really like that. Prodigy's path has been changes, so 2 Prodigy paths will now be available each quarter of the year. The first 2 under a new system that will run from December the 13th to January 27th, and then January 27th to March the 20th. So this is an update which I don't like. So Hero's Journey resets. Boo. I don't like this one, because especially for completionists, you spend quite a long time going up those heroes' journeys and, completing them and getting to that last one and finally seeing that page finish. I don't like seeing everything refresh. I know you get rewards for redoing them again, but I don't like having things I've completed having refreshed again. So this says chapters 1 to 6 will reset on December the 13th, and the first 4 chapters will be available. Yeah, I'm not happy about that one. Challenge Rift Season 10. The next Challenge Rift season will run from December the 13th to February the 17th, and it adds levels 351 to 400, capping out at combating rating 47,522, and lowers the difficulties for level 331 and 350. So yeah, I'm gonna have to speed through some challenge rifts later on when the patch goes live, so that's going to be fun, and it's always interesting to see who's the first people to get the higher levels. We've got new heraldic bestiary entries as well, so there's new collectibles have been added to illustrate the histories of the Dreadbirth and Stormspawn Helliquary bosses. It's always nice to see the artwork of those entries as well, so that's quite cool. We've got Adventurous Chronicle. New entries to the Adventurous Chronicle have been added. Look out for them throughout the Sanctuary, in particular concentration in a new zone. So we've obviously got the World's Crown. We expected there to be new Chronicles, so keep an eye out for that. And then Wing Awaken. So the Wing Awaken system now requires 6,000 resonance to unlock, down from 8,000. The system has been reworked to the following. So now you just need 6,000 to unlock the wing and the 6 slots for gem resonance, and then 7,000 resonance for slot unlocking the 8 slots, and then so on. You've got 8,000, 8,500, and then it just gets to a crazy amount of resonance, where you get the Transcendence Wings and the Sacred Transcendence Wings. Upon reaching the maximum resonance, you'll gain the Swift Heaven bonus, which increases your movement speed in safe zones. Okay, I'm not really sure what to say about that one. Yeah, thanks for all the money you've been conned into giving us after all this time. Here's some increased movement speed. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about that. So this one, we've got earn additional inventory and stash base. So this is something which is going to affect all of us. We all get low on stash base and inventory space. Activate the Blizzard Authenticator feature. Oh, okay. By logging into your Battle.net account and following these steps to receive an additional row of inventory and stash base whilst it's enabled. You will not only have upgraded storage capacity, but increased security for your account. So I already use a physical Blizzard Authenticator. I don't know, I'm going to have to look in to see if this is a software-based authenticator or if it is the physical one that I already use. If it is, then I'm just going to get these straight away. But that's great. I'd highly recommend getting an authenticator for your Blizzard account. It will enable some extra security measures. And then we have bug fixes, something which is really, really important and I look out for. So they should be an update that is on that bug fix page. So yeah, and that is it. That is one of the biggest updates, and there's so much included. I reckon it's one of the best updates we've had in Diablo Immortal. There's just so much content packed into this. You know, the class changes, the new story element, Diablo returning, the legendary gems, and just so many things that are done to remove the grind and make the game more enjoyable and fun. If only they had removed the play to win aspects of this game, this would be one of the best mobile games out there at the moment and continuing into next year. But you know, it is what it is. They do get a lot of money from the pay to win aspects, and it would have been nice if you could just pay for cosmetics and, you know, maybe some PvE boosting features, but nothing that affects you, you know, in PvP. It just means that you'll never be able to have a balanced and proper PvP system in this game that's just based off skill and builds. But it is what it is. I'm more into the PvE elements of this game anyway. But look at all these updates, a massive update. This is going to be huge, and it's going to be fun to check out all of the new things that have been introduced into this game. So yeah, it's been nice to go through all of the updates and see what's in there. Let me know what you think is the area which you're looking forward to seeing the most and what you're most excited about. There's just too many things here. I'm just excited about so many things in this update. It's just fantastic. So well done to everyone involved in the Blizzard development team and test team, everyone involved who made this update happen and everything that you brought us in game. And yeah, let's look forward to facing off against Diablo. Thanks for watching this huge update video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.